Hello, and welcome to Leche-san's Treehouse. The next season of our beloved show, Demon Slayer, is called the Entertainment District, and it starts with Akaza returning to Musan to report that he could not complete his job. Musan appeared before Akaza as a young boy. His disguise belied his immense power. Musan revealed his disappointment in Akaza for failing to complete his task. With a fire in his eyes, Akaza vowed to rectify his mistakes and eliminate Tanjiro once and for all. Meanwhile, Tanjiro was on a journey of his own, traveling to meet Senjuro and Shinjuro, Rengoku's brother and father. Shinjuro, a former flame Hashira and now an alcoholic, saw both of his sons as failures and dismissed Tanjiro violently. But when Shinjuro laid eyes on Tanjiro's earrings, he was stunned. Tanjiro was the bearer of the first breathing technique, sun breathing. In a moment of rage, Tanjiro headbutted Shinjuro, knocking him out for disrespecting his fallen comrade, Rengoku. Later, when Tanjiro was about to leave, Senjuro thanked him for bringing Rengoku's message. 4 months after Rengoku's death, Tanjiro, Zenitsu, and Inosuke joined forces with the sound Hashira Tengen Yuzui on their next mission, which was to infiltrate the infamous Yoshiwara Red Light District, where demons were rumored to reside. The mission to investigate the suspected demonic presence in Yoshiwara was dangerous. Tengen, the sound Hashira, had sent his 3 wives to infiltrate the 3 largest courtesan houses in the district, but when he stopped receiving messages from them, he became worried for their safety. To find out what had happened to his wives, Tengen disguised Tanjiro, Inosuke, and Zenitsu as girls and sold them to the same houses where his wives had been deployed. Despite some difficulties, the 3 demon slayers were able to secure positions at the houses and begin their investigation. As Tengen kept watch from the rooftops, he noticed that something was amiss. One of his wives, Makio, was being held captive in a secluded room in Inosuke's house, her movements restricted by numerous obi. A mysterious female voice could be heard questioning Makio, trying to extract information from her. Inosuke was determined to find Makio, Tengen's captive wife. He believed he had found her room and braced himself for a confrontation with a demon. But when he entered the room, it was empty and chaotic, leaving Inosuke with more questions than answers. Despite this setback, Inosuke didn't give up. He could sense something moving through the walls and ceiling, and he set off in pursuit, determined to get to the bottom of what was happening. Meanwhile, Zenitsu was also facing challenges. He stood up for a girl being scolded by Warabeheim, the beautiful but intimidating Oiran in his own house. Zenitsu immediately recognized Warabeheim as a demon and braced himself for a fight. But before he could take any action, Warabeheim attacked him in a fit of rage. Days before the mission, the madam of the house had suspected Warabeheim of being a demon. She confronted Warabeheim, but before she could reveal the truth, Warabeheim killed her by dropping her from a great height. Upon her return, she was greeted by Musan, who praised her for her strength and beauty. Musan called her by her demon name Daki, the upper rank 6. Zenitsu was eventually rescued and taken care of by the girls he had stood up for. They thanked him for standing his ground and for protecting them. But as they left, Zenitsu was stealthily captured by Daki, setting the stage for a dramatic and intense confrontation. Tanjiro and Inosuke meet to exchange information, but their reunion is cut short by Tengen, who soon realizes Zenitsu is missing and advises Tanjiro and Inosuke not to endanger their lives in search for him. Unwilling to abandon him, the 2 rearm themselves for war and set off again. Tanjiro quickly detects a scent emanating from his house and returns to meet Daki, who has absorbed the Oiran into her obi. Daki effortlessly overpowers Tanjiro as the 2 continue to fight. Tanjiro's determination and bravery shine through as he stands up against the demon, Daki. With every strike and dodge, the emotion behind his actions becomes clearer, fueled by the love he has for his family and the promise he made to avenge his fallen brother. The sound of clashing blades and the tension in the air only serve to emphasize the gravity of the situation. Tanjiro may have faced many demons before, but Daki proves to be a formidable opponent, and it is clear that he will need to summon every ounce of strength and skill to come out on top. The anger boiled inside Tanjiro as he watched the destruction around him. He retaliated with an explosive series of Hinakami Kagura attacks, striking Daki with all his might. But she was quick and resourceful, transforming her neck into an obi, making it nearly impossible to cut. As the battle raged on, Daki began to see memories from her past, memories that she knew must have come from the cells of Musan within her. She launched another barrage of attacks, determined to take down Tanjiro. But Tanjiro was fighting with everything he had. He was so focused on defeating Daki that he forgot to breathe. And just as he was about to collapse from suffocation, a vision from his late sister saved him. He stumbled, gasping for air as Daki approached him. That's when Nezuko appeared, who was filled with rage. With a single powerful kick, she destroyed Daki's head, remembering Musan's words about her as a demon who must be exterminated. Daki fought back with all her might, seemingly bisecting Nezuko with ease. But she was stunned to see Nezuko standing once again, mature in appearance and ready for more. Biting through her bamboo muzzle, Nezuko faced off against Daki, determined to end the battle once and for all. As the battle between Nezuko and Daki continued, Nezuko was hit with major injuries, but to the shock of Daki, she regenerated them almost instantly. Her regenerative ability was stronger than anything Daki had ever seen. With her newfound power, Nezuko overwhelmed Daki and threw her into an inhabited building. As she healed, Nezuko's demonic bloodlust kicked in, and she attacked a bleeding civilian. But as she was about to strike, Tanjiro intervened, restraining her. Tengen, the sound Hashira, soon arrived on the scene, beheading Daki with ease. But she did not die. Instead, she wailed and cried, causing her brother Jotaro to emerge from within her. Jotaro was one of the upper six, and he was filled with envy at Tengen's good looks. He attacked Tengen with his sickles and blood demon art, struggling to stand his ground while protecting the civilians. Daki and Jotaro fought as one, determined to take down their opponent. As the battle raged on, Tanjiro managed to calm Nezuko down. And just as things were getting out of hand, Zenitsu and Inosuke arrived to help. The three demon slayers stood together, facing off against the powerful demons and determined to protect the innocent. With Nezuko safely secured, Tanjiro was unwavering in his determination to win the coming battle, despite the wounds he had sustained. The battle of beliefs between Tengen, Jotaro, and Daki raged on, with each exchanging taunts and insults. Tengen, a former member of the shinobi, had been cruelly trained by his father in his youth. But, driven by a desire to escape the same fate as his surviving brother, he approached Kaguya along with his wives. They commended him for striving to break away from his past. As the battle raged on, Tengen separated the upper-rank siblings, but soon realized that Jotaro's earlier attack had poisoned him. Tanjiro, Zenitsu, and Inosuke joined Tengen, acknowledging and praising each other. The district was evacuated by Suma and Makio while Hinetsuru, recovering from her injuries, approached the fight. The plan was to behead the siblings simultaneously, but the battle was split as Daki engaged Zenitsu and Inosuke, while Jotaro clashed with Tengen and Tanjiro. The upper-rank siblings overwhelmed the demon slayers as they synced their powers and fought as one. However, Tanjiro, realizing the defensive capabilities of his water-breathing technique, was able to fend off Jotaro's attacks. Hinetsuru entered the fray, launching wisteria-laced kunai at Jotaro, giving Tengen and Tanjiro a chance to close in and aim for the kill. Jotaro neutralized the wisteria poison and regenerated his legs, giving him the upper hand in the fight against Tengen and Hinetsuru. But just when it seemed like all hope was lost, Tanjiro stepped in, combining his Hinakami Kagura and water breathing to unleash a stunning charge that saved Hinetsuru. Tengen joined in, attempting to slice off Jotaro's head, while Zenitsu and Inosuke continued to fend off Daki's obi. But Jotaro was too strong, unleashing his blood demon art and forcing Tengen to throw himself and Jotaro away to save Hinetsuru and Tanjiro. Tengen fought Jotaro alone, while Tanjiro joined forces with Zenitsu and Inosuke to face Daki. Working together, Tanjiro and Zenitsu opened the way for Inosuke, who sawed off Daki's head with his swords and ran away with it, preventing any chance of reattachment. However, Jotaro appeared, stabbing Inosuke from behind and retrieving Daki's head. Tanjiro turned around to see an injured and downed Tengen, leaving him devastated for not being able to help in time. But Zenitsu was quick to react, pushing Tanjiro off the roof to save him from an incoming obi attack. As Tanjiro stumbled through the smoky and chaotic city, he stumbled upon Nezuko's box. A moment of relief washed over him, knowing she was safe. But his peace was short-lived as the imposing figure of Jotaro appeared, taunting him for his inability to protect those he cared about. Jotaro's brutal attack sent Tanjiro flying, but he refused to give up. In a desperate attempt to turn the tide, Tanjiro headbutted Jotaro and stabbed him with a poisoned kunai, buying himself some time. Determined to defeat the demon, Tanjiro summoned the power of his Hinakami Kagura and prepared to strike the final blow. But before he could, Daki appeared, determined to stop him. Zenitsu was quick to act and blocked her way, unleashing his lightning-fast form. With Jotaro recovering and ready to strike again, Tengen stepped in, battling the demon despite his own wounds. Seizing the opportunity, Tanjiro made his move, slicing through Jotaro's neck with all the strength he had left. Despite the odds, Zenitsu and Inosuke joined the fight, revealing that he had moved his internal organs to survive the demon's attack. The three demon slayers worked together, beheading the siblings with a simultaneous strike. As Tanjiro stumbled from the poison's effects, Tengen urged him to run just as Jotaro's body exploded, sending waves of blood blades in all directions and completely destroying the city. Despite the tragedy, Tanjiro emerged victorious, having proven his strength and bravery in the face of incredible odds. Nezuko unleashes her blood demon art, incinerating the blood blades. Tanjiro awakens to find that the poison has left his body, and he is reunited with Nezuko. Together, they search for their fellow demon slayers and come across Zenitsu, who leads them to a badly injured Inosuke. Nezuko uses her powers to purify Jotaro's poison, saving Inosuke's life. They also find Tengen, who is surrounded by his wives, and Nezuko heals him as well. As they set out to complete their mission of defeating the demons, they come across a pool of blood, and Tanjiro takes a sample for Tamayo to analyze. They soon find themselves in the midst of an argument between Daki and Jotaro, who are blaming each other for their defeat. Tanjiro steps in, trying to defuse the situation, but before he can make a difference, Daki succumbs to her wounds. Jotaro reflects on his past life as a human. Born in the lowest class in the entertainment district, he was treated as a monster due to his unattractive appearance. Everything changed with the birth of his sister, Yuemi, who was blessed with beauty. Despite their improved circumstances, tragedy struck when Yuemi blinded a samurai and was burned alive as punishment. Jotaro found her body and, in a fit of rage, killed the samurai and the madam who had caused Yuemi's death. He and his sister were later approached by the upper rank 6, who offered to turn them into demons. In the afterlife, Jotaro and Yuemi reconcile and vow never to be apart again, walking hand in hand toward hell. Finally, at peace, Jotaro disintegrates into dust. The serpent Hashira, Abanai Iguro, arrives on the scene, teasing Tengen for defeating the weakest upper rank. However, Tengen announces his intention to retire and proudly speaks of Tanjiro's potential as a demon slayer. At the same time, Akaza is summoned to the Infinity Castle, realizing that only the death of an upper rank would warrant such a summons. Tanjiro embraces his friends, Zenitsu, Inosuke, and Nezuko, grateful that they have all survived the battle. Overcome with emotion, he expresses his happiness at being able to continue their journey together.